How's it going, everyone? If you found this video, you still probably love this game. I've done an in-depth analysis, or like a Cube World's weapons breakdown by start game stats, especially. These are the starting weapons for each class and specialization, and I've also based these numbers and ratings off of specializations so you can figure out which weapon is the best for each class and specialization. So stay till the end to get the full breakdown, and drop a sub or a like if you enjoyed or learned anything. Here we go. To start us off, we have Rogue, and Rogue features the dagger, fists, or longswords weapons. We can start off with fists. Fists have the highest attack power in the early beginning game, with 10 above daggers at 9.8 and longswords at 9.7. The fists also feature the highest attack speed or haste, which starts off at 0.7%, which is blowing the other two out of the water. And in my opinion, and after a decent amount of gameplay, I believe that fists are best for the assassin class, not quite as good for ninja. On to daggers. Daggers are in the middle for attack power, they're in the middle for haste, they're in the middle for crit. Daggers are all around the balanced weapon of the rogue class, and I think they're decent for the assassin, and they're also decent for ninja when it comes down to it. You can use daggers in most situations, and they also feature the poison effect that you get on enemies, and I think that's also very utilitarian and gives it a new advantage. On to the longsword. The longsword has the lowest attack power starting off, but it has that high smashing crit. They have long swings, so better for AoE when you're fighting multiple mobs. Not the best for the assassin class in general compared to fists, which have higher attack speed, but when you get into the ninja, feature a nice dash ability, and the dash ability with the longsword and the crit ends up with these giant attacks that you just melt through enemies in one swing, similar to the Berserker smash. Also decent attack power, but lower than others. The fists for the ninja class probably come out the lowest end, so you probably shouldn't use fists with ninjas, better with assassin, but all in all, the fists are okay. I would choose longswords or daggers for the ninja class. And daggers for ninja are also okay since the daggers are balanced, but at the end of the day, I would pick longswords as the best weapon for ninja class. I would choose fists for best weapon as assassin class, and daggers are balanced, so it's good for both specialization, whichever you choose to go with at the end of the day. And just to take into account, ninjutsu is for the ninja class, and it adds extra stealth abilities and poison flask and AoE ability. Now on to ranger. Ranger features the bow, crossbow, and boomerang. The boomerang, pretty great. The boomerang for attack power comes out on top. It comes second for hit points, and probably one of the best for critical attacks, decent for haste, but more than all, it does more attacks at once, which does more damage to multiple enemies. On to the crossbow. The crossbow has the highest haste or attack speed, and it's great for taking out individual enemies. It has a medium attack power, and on sniper, it's pretty good. It's not quite the best for scout, where I think the boomerang pulls ahead, but we'll see. The bow, in fact, features a multiple attack. You can shoot multiple arrows and you can hit multiple enemies with those arrows, where the crossbow, it just hits one enemy, and on that charge attack for the bow, instead of one strong attack, it shoots a bunch of arrows. It has the lowest haste, it has good crit and a lower attack power and hit points. So you can either have quicksand ability. The quicksand ability is very good for ranger in my opinion, or shadow shooter on the sniper specialization. The shadow shooter, you summon another character and fight with him, which is extra damage, but personally I definitely prefer quicksand. In the sniper class, the boomerangs are pretty good, and you can dispatch enemies quite well with a friend of your own, the shadow shooter by your side. But when you pull out the crossbow on Sniper and you're just unloading those right-click charged abilities, those attacks, you'll just melt through enemies. So personally, I think the crossbow is the best weapon for the Sniper, and the bow is probably the balanced weapon of the two specializations. The bow shooting multiple arrows every single charged attack. The bow can kind of be good for both. I would give it a 4 out of 5 for the Sniper and the Scout. For the Scout, I would definitely choose Boomerang with that quicksand synergy, and the crossbow definitely for the Sniper, getting ultimate damage with your buddy. Now on to Warrior. The Warrior features 3 weapons: the two-handed weapon, the dual wielding of 2 weapons, or the shield and sword. The dual wield weapons are pretty great. They have the highest DPS for sure, lower crit than normal, and a higher haste or attack speed. The dual weapons are all about damage when it comes down to it, and I think since the Berserker has a higher DPS and more smash attacks, the dual weapons is definitely better for that specialization. The dual wield weapons also typically have higher hit points at the beginning of the game, which is good to remember. Now onto the two-handed weapons. Two-handed weapons have a giant crit. Those crit abilities are good in most situations for a warrior, great for Berserker, but they can also be good because you can block on Guardian with your big two-handed weapon, whatever that may be. But the two-handed weapons are slow. Very, very slow. Much slower, half the speed as any other weapon, so I'm not a personal fan of that slow attack speed, and you also have lower hit points with a two-handed weapon. Onto the Shield and Sword. The Shield and Sword has higher haste and attack speed, medium attack power, so they're semi-balanced, but the Shield Sword is definitely better for Guardian because it has lower DPS and you have that block ability. The block ability is just insane, and in team play, when you're a higher level, having the Shield and Sword is definitely the way to go. Two-handed weapons and dual-wielding weapons you definitely want to use with the Berserker class, where the Shield Sword you definitely want to go with the Guardian. I mean, it's just common sense. You have block, you have health for your tank ability, and you have DPS for the two-hand and dual. Depends how you want to play, with more DPS or with more crit. But at the end of the day, Berserker, Rock Fist, two-hand weapon, you get that smashing crit every time, just melting guys in a higher level. That's just the way to do it. Now on to my favorite class, Mage. I have a bit of a bias here, but I generally play with staves. The Mage features a staff, a wand, and a bracelet. The bracelets have amazing attack power. They're pretty fast, but medium haste when the stats come out, and the highest hit points as well. The bracelets are a great starter weapon, in my opinion. You can melt through enemies, and they're good for hitting multiple enemies. The wand has the highest haste but a medium attack power. The wand is pretty hard to hit, to be honest, and it's more for DPS. The wand, I could take it or leave it. It's not very good as a Fire Mage, where bracelets definitely come on top for the Fire Mage. And then there's the staff. I have a bit of a bias towards the staff, and the stats are low for the staff. They have the lowest hit points, medium crit, the lowest haste. I mean, it seems like the staff is bad all around. It doesn't come out on top for the Fire Mage. I would say it's pretty low, but the staff has pretty good DPS when you consider the passives, where mages' attacks get faster after every hit. The staff, though, comes back when you're in a Water Mage. Onto Water Mage with bracelets. I mean, they're not bad. Bracelet, Water Mage, you can still melt through enemies pretty fast. And that crit ability as well, the crit with the bubbles. I mean, bracelets are good still. The wand, though, also bad here. The wand is definitely better for Fire Mage than it is for Water Mage. And the speed doesn't really make up much. I don't see the situation where you want to use the wand. I would give it a 3 out of 5 for Fire and Water Mage. Not going to go with the wand. But the staff I mean, if you're playing with friends, the staff is going to heal your friends. It's going to be able to damage multiple enemies. It's got that AoE. It might not have the highest attack power at base, but the staff is where I put my vote. A lot of people like the bracelets though, especially for solo. It just doesn't have that AoE ability, and AoE for Water Mage is great. I would say bracelets for Fire Mage and Water Mage staff. Don't ever pick the wand. Just don't do it. So that's all of the weapons that we have for each specialization. I'm gonna say the best weapon for a mage is probably the bracelet, even though I prefer the staff. The best weapon for a warrior is probably dual wield. The two-handed is just too slow. Shield and sword is good for guardian, but dual is also decent for guardian. For ranger, boomerang all the freaking way. Boomerang for scout with that quicksand ability is unbelievable, and the stats are crazy on the boomerang. Then rogue, I like long swords. A lot of people do too. You could go daggers. They're pretty balanced. I'm going to say long sword is the best rogue weapon just off of base stats, but fists have also got pretty good base stats, surprisingly. But I just like the feel of the long sword with specifically the ninja. And the best weapon in the game right now for Cube World, and I think it's pretty OP, is definitely boomerang. Boomerang's base attack power is higher than any other weapon in the game. And with the Scout Quicksand ability, it's just OP in solo or in group play. The boomerang is the best weapon in Cube World. You can have your own opinion, and these are all mostly my opinions with some decent analysis that I did on stream the other day. I hope you guys enjoy. Give me your opinion on your favorite weapon and what you think is the best weapon. You can shit on my my opinions all day. It's totally debatable. And thanks guys for watching. I hope you learned something. Drop a sub for a smaller YouTuber. Appreciate y'all and all the support so far. And see you guys later. Bye.